Do you ever take the time at the end of the year to look back over the year and ask yourself, what went really, really well for me this year? Well, let's do that today. Let's talk about the top 10 frugal living tips that we all talked about and loved all throughout the course of 2021. Let's do this together. Welcome. I'm Amy, and here at the Frugal Diaries, I give you tips and tools for frugal living, including our top 10 from 2021. For number 1, I want to give this right away to our beloved Goldie. Goldie's Frugal Diary for the day is budget. Goldie doesn't know much about budgets, but she knows what it's like if you don't budget, because if you don't budget, you don't have enough money to buy treats for Goldie. And I'm here with Goldie to tell you that it is so worth it to budget, and you folks have talked about your budgets and what you love about your budgets all year in 2021. In fact, as we go along today, I want to invite you at any point to pause the video, go down in the comments, and tell me what's your favorite tip of 2021 and what is the thing that worked best for you. And talk about how you interacted with the particular tip that I'm talking about, like budgeting right now. What is your favorite budgeting app or tool or method? What has worked really well for you in 2021? How did you get your dog her treats? Because whether you are an elderly golden retriever or a slightly middle-aged woman or anything in between or different, you do need a budget. You folks know that I love to talk about You Need a Budget, and I always leave a link for 34 days free in the description box of my videos. But a lot of you love everything from pencil and paper up to self-created spreadsheets and everything in between. So let's talk about that. How do you budget? How do you plan for your spending? How do you keep track of your spending? Goldie wants to know. Number 2, we talked about indirectly throughout the year, but we never gave it a name, and I want to name it and then start talking about it a whole lot more. And that is, have a routine. When you have a routine, you know what's coming, and you don't get so sucked in by impulse purchases. I want to talk to you about a particular way that I'm implementing a routine right now. Here is a suitcase that I am packing for a trip. This is my under-seat luggage. A lot of you have asked about this. I don't have an affiliate link. I may set one up in the new year, but if you want me to tell you where I got this, just ask me in the comments and I'll link you to what I got off Amazon. This fits under the seat and it fits a whole lot of stuff. I love it because it helps me set up a packing routine that works for me. Because I travel quite a bit, I like to set a routine around traveling. And I actually learned this from one of my kids who has done it since they were like 10. Like 2 weeks out, what do you prepare? 1 week out, what do you prepare? And then every single day until you travel, what do you prepare? This helps avoid spending too much money, getting too stressed, and then getting too stressed means you spend a lot of money, right? I also want to remind you that I have a free printable called The Daily Dozen. This is nothing super fancy, but a lot of you have asked for it, and so I want to give you another opportunity to ask for it. What you see here is a graphic of leaves, the words Daily Dozen, what tasks you're going to do every day, what tasks you're going to just do Monday through Friday, and then numbers, and you just fill in the blanks with your particular daily dozen, which may differ significantly from mine. But routines are going to be one of your best friends in frugal living, and I really regret that I didn't identify this specifically and use the word routine in 2021, but we sure did talk about routines a lot, and we're going to keep that going in 2022, so stick around. For number 3, let's take a walk out to my garage of doom. Here we have everything that is going to Goodwill today. When I get done recording some videos, the car is going to be loaded up. Yes, this lovely beastie here is going to be stuffed to the gills with all of these items. Can you guess what this tip is? Declutter! I think of myself as an extreme minimalist, and yet every time I go through my house, I find more things that I haven't used, that I am not going to use, things that I maybe don't even like. And isn't that the most painful thing about decluttering, is when you go through stuff and you're like, I don't even know why I kept it. One of our very top group tips in frugal living was to declutter, to get rid of everything that is just keeping us stuck in our homes, in our cars, in our lives as they are, and keeping us from moving in the direction we want. Sometimes we find hidden treasures, which means that we don't have to go out and buy something we really needed, but just as often it clears out space in our lives so that we can sit and think and take time and make frugal decisions. So If you haven't started on this train, I invite you to join me and declutter. Number 4 brings us to my kitchen, one of our favorite spots here on the channel. It's one of the top 10 spots in my house this year because you all love the red cabinets, which makes it look a bit like a chuck wagon, I think. And the tip is meal plan. You folks absolutely go wild in the comments every time I talk about meal planning. Some of you talk about stocking up for 6 months. Others of you agree with my strategy of not really stocking up very much, but having easy meal ingredients on hand. Some of you love to shop with a list. Some of you love to shop the sales and then build your list around what you brought home from the sales. There are so many variations of meal planning that you folks have brought to the party all year long. And I wish that I could show you anything special or spectacular or fantastic about my particular method, but I just have food and I fix it and I eat it. And ultimately, I think that might be the secret of meal planning, is to have food that you can fix and that you can eat. Everybody's kitchen is a little different. Everybody's health situation, money situation, all a little bit different. We all live very different lives. But think about meal planning as one of our top tips and decide how you can meal plan today. By the way, I am so glad that you are here. We have had a wonderful flurry of new subscribers and lots of interest from the original folks all through this fall, and we have grown so much. If you are new here because you've just found the channel, please give this video a like and consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so you'll get notified first of new videos. If you'd like to contribute to the growth of the channel, click the link below for Buy Me a Coffee, where you can make a one-time contribution or become a monthly member. Thank you so much for being here. If you can hear, there's a rooster somewhere in my neighborhood that is announcing that it is morning and it's time for coffee, and I'd like to invite you to make your coffee at home. I have shared with you in several videos how I make my coffee and what I like to put in it. I like to make my coffee with an espresso machine. It's probably the world's cheapest espresso machine, but I really love it. It works just fine. I do half calf, half decaf. I put in 1 packet of Sweet and Low. I know that's very 1970s of me. And I put in some cocoa powder. I mix it in with the coffee, and then I put some milk in that, and then I stick it in the microwave to heat it all up. This is not something that would get me a job as a barista, but I love it, and I drink 2 of these a day sometimes. This does not mean that I have stopped going to places like Starbucks, because I can use my Fetch Rewards app to collect points from receipts and get money that way. And sometimes I just actually budget for going out and having other people make my coffee. But our biggest tip together was drinking coffee at home. And so many of you talked about the beauty of that morning ritual of just making your coffee and drinking it by yourself or together with a loved one out on a porch or at a desk. Tell me about your coffee routine. What do you love? For our next tip, let's take a trip to the kitchen where I want to talk to you about drinking water. I have some in here and I'm going to top it up. Now, if you live in a place where the water from the tap is safe to drink, I encourage you to do that because it's almost free to you. It's whatever your water utility costs. If you live in a part of the world where that's not possible and you need to buy bottled water or have water trucked in, some parts of the world that have to do that, or you have to boil your water, do whatever it takes to get some water into you and find the way that is the most cost-effective in your area. Clean drinking water is a big issue in some parts of the world, and in other parts of the world, it's as simple as turning on the tap. Tell me about your water reality. Are you a person who can turn on the tap, or are you a person who has to go out and buy water? How do you drink water frugally? You folks loved this tip. Even those of you who were like, well, I can't turn on the tap and get safe water. You still loved the idea of drinking water as a frugal tip. It doesn't cost much for most of us, so drink up. The next frugal tip that you folks really loved over the course of the year was about exercising, and not everybody can exercise in the same way. I'm showing you a probably really blown out picture of the outdoors because the way I love to exercise is to walk. I love to go places. I love to walk around my neighborhood. I love to take my phone with me, so I listen to a podcast and I'll shoot some video of some beautiful stonework or some flowers or the sky or anything beautiful in nature that I see. So I'm getting exercise, not just for my body, but for my soul as well. Because being stuck in the house all the time, I work at a day job, it's at a computer, YouTube is at a computer, and getting out and seeing something is so beautiful and so healthy and so healing. I feel better physically, I feel stronger. And in fact, over the past year, I've been able to increase my walking by 3 times as much as I could do it last year. I'm really happy about that. Some of you swear by swimming. Others of you love to go to the gym. Others of you do yoga. Tell me, what do you do for exercise? Anything that you do that helps to maintain the state of health that you are in, and if possible, to improve it a little bit, which sometimes actually is possible, that is a great thing for your frugal journey. So keep exercise in the picture and enjoy nature where you can, and live your best frugal life with the healthiest body that you have. For my next tip, I want to talk about having a hobby. Lots of people think of hobbies as expensive, but we have talked about hobbies as one of the best frugal tips because you can find a way to have a hobby that is creative, that is productive, where you can make something and give as gifts, where you can bake something and eat it, where you can enjoy your life and even learn something new and share it with other people. Hobbies, that's not just about buying a boat or learning to take up some expensive sport. Although if you want to do those things and you can budget for them in your frugal life, I say go for it. But if you can't, if you're like most of us, your hobby is going to be something like mine. I learned how to bake bread. I love to make sandwich bread, and I also love to make sourdough. And when I make bread, it makes me happy. It makes the people I'm making bread for happy. We love the taste of it. We enjoy it so much. And the process of it is creative. And guess what? If you are engaging in a hobby right at this moment, you are not actively spending money. You are saving money, especially if you are being productive and making something that you can then use instead of going out and buying the item. Yes, sometimes hobby supplies are expensive, but when you budget for them and include them in your daily routine, you save money overall and you enjoy a better quality of life. Tip number 9 of our favorite frugal tips this year was to sleep. This is something that many of us struggle with. If you are like me and you're a menopausal woman, you may struggle with getting enough sleep. A lot of people struggle with sleep, but making sleep a priority, however many hours a night you need, and the jury is still out, you probably know how many hours a night you need in order to feel your best, and you probably can identify what are your particular struggles with getting enough sleep. But here at the Frugal Diaries, we have all agreed that when we get enough sleep, we are less tired and therefore less impulsive. There's something about being sleep deprived, and especially for those of us who struggle with chronic sleep deprivation, that lowers our resistance to marketing, that lowers our resistance to impulse purchases. And I think of myself as immune, but just the other night, I was really tired. I hadn't slept well the night before, and I probably should have gone to bed to go to sleep, but instead, I did a little impulse shopping. I regretted it immediately and immediately canceled the order. And I wondered to myself, why did I do that? Why did I spend money that I didn't really want to spend on a product that I didn't really want? And it was because I was tired and I had decided to buy something instead of trying to go to sleep. I could have slept, but instead I made an impulse purchase. But I always encourage you, as you look back on 2021, to look at the times when you really succeeded in frugal living. And when was it easier? And I bet it was easier when you'd had enough sleep. This is not an easy thing to solve for those of us who struggle with sleep, but it's certainly worth prioritizing. The last thing in our top 10 list from 2021, celebrating frugal living, is that we all agreed that making peace of mind a priority is really important. And I'm giving you this from my desk, where things are a little bit messy today, because I'm getting ready to travel and I'm trying to organize and I'm trying to edit and I'm trying to shoot videos and I'm trying to grade papers. If any of my students are watching this, they're probably like, why are you recording a video instead of grading my paper? And it's a little bit chaotic. And when things are chaotic, it's easy to say, I don't feel peace of mind. And when we don't feel peace of mind, we look for things to help us to feel better. And our society has taught us that if we buy something, or if we spend indulgently on something, that we'll feel better. And most often that is not the case. Most often what is the case is all of the things that I've talked about before. And just ask yourself this, is it possible that right now, right here, in this moment, everything is okay? It is possible that things right now where you are, as you're listening to that question, are not good. And it's possible that your answer is a very firm, absolutely not. But it's also entirely possible that in the chaos of the end of the year activities, that you are thinking to yourself, things are going poorly, I am stressed, I don't feel well, and you ask yourself, wait, is everything okay? Is everything okay right here, right where I am? And if the answer is yes, that is a great thing for your frugal journey. Our frugal journeys and our life journeys are 100% intertwined. There is really no separation. And when we talk about living frugally, we're really talking just about living. If you can seek peace of mind in moments of chaos, then you can save money, which then increases your peace of mind. This can be a challenge for many of us at this time of year and at any time of year. And we may need to reach out for help in all kinds of ways to achieve that sense of peace of mind. But I would encourage you to join me today, right now, in asking yourself, what if it's possible that right now, right here, just with me, everything is okay? And if it's okay, take a deep breath and take the next step. Wherever you are on your frugal living journey, take the next step, whatever that next step is for you, and know that you are not alone. And I am so proud of you. Live frugally, change your life, and together we will change the world. I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye-bye.